Self-love is the new sexy, the podcast devoted to helping you overcome life's most painful and stubborn challenges so you can feel great, have more energy, and live stress-free every day. To reach your full potential, simply work with the powerful spiritual principles that are readily accessible to everyone. It's easier than you think, and on today's show, W. Mark Watts is going to show you how starting with self-love is the key to joyously and harmoniously making that happen.
Hey everybody, it's W. Mark Watts. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me for another episode of Self-Love is the New Sexy. And in today's episode, I want to give you just a little bit better feel for my story and kind of what brought me to the point of where we're actually making acquaintances via the podcast. And it's really simple, and I've alluded to it on some of the other episodes, but I want to go a little bit more in depth just to kind of give you more of a feel for really who I am and where I'm coming from. So I've actually started studying, I would say, self-improvement or thinking differently instead in terms of working a solid 9 to 5 only, just looking for other options. I would say that that journey started for me back in maybe 1999, 98, 99, when I was unhappy in my corporate job and then went through a layoff and just really was wondering, what am I going to do with my professional life? Because I don't feel really comfortable with what I'm doing. I'm not excited about what I do every day. So what are the options? Like, what am I really going to do with my life? So I started asking those questions, and I started going to the bookstore and looking through books, and started online just looking around for things. And I bought my first book, which I think is The Power of Thinking Big. And I read that, and it started to open my eyes, or started me on the road to thinking differently than, what we grew up with. Go to school, get a college degree, get a 9 to 5, the white picket fence, and retire and get the little watch and, kind of ride off into the sunset. And that never was me. But I didn't have any examples or didn't know what else there was out there for me. So that journey started there. And then I'll fast forward to roughly about 3 years ago, where I had been in a relationship with a wonderful lady. And I'd actually moved from the South, moved from Atlanta, Georgia, here in the U.S., up to Detroit, Michigan, which is where she was. And we carried on, and we were in relationship for, at the time that it ended, 12 years, a little over 12 years total time. With a little small break in there, but for the most part, over 12-year relationship. And we had gotten to the point where our kids were graduating from high school and ready to move off into college, and which is what we had planned. And we had started discussing seriously getting married, putting some rough timetables to that idea and that thought. And that's what we had been working toward for the majority. Once we were obviously really serious with each other, and so we were moving toward getting married and had set a tentative date for the summer of 18. Well, in the summer of, or May of 17, something happened where she basically took a left turn in the relationship, or from the relationship, which basically we went from tentative plans to get married to basically not even speaking to one another. And, of course, needless to say, that was a huge, huge change. And there were plenty of emotions on my side. And subsequently, a couple months later, I moved from the Detroit area back down south to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I am now. But as a result of that major life shift, we were planning, or I, at least in my head, I was planning on pretty much being with her the rest of my life and all that entails. And so once that change occurred, I had to really refocus and revamp my program and rethink what I was doing. And at the core of that pain and that hurt and all of that good stuff was I really needed to ground myself again and really find a way to find my true happiness for myself, not happiness that included anyone else. And so along that journey that I started back in 98, 99, I had really been studying spirituality a lot and those types of things, and following people who speak and teach those principles about how to just be at peace and happy and enjoy yourself. So I, wanted to really dig in there because I needed a remedy. Like I needed, I was in pain. Like my heart, like I was crushed. I mean, my heart was broken in a million pieces because that was something that I had never even really imagined happening. We were just that tight that I thought that this is forever, except for we just haven't actually done it. And then once we started making the plans to do that, I never thought anything other than that. So now that that was gone and pretty much there was no opportunity or chance of it changing, it was pretty much a done deal. And with that being somewhat unresolved from a standpoint of being able to understand where she was coming from or why that happened that way. I mean, there was some discussion. So I have a loose idea of what was going on at that time, but that's neither here nor there. So at that point, I had to say, hey, how do I heal myself? How do I get back on the road to where I want to be? How do I get happy? And how do I create a life and a happiness and a power and a strength and just an energy that is totally independent of anything else going on in my life, including relationships, including my son, including everything but me. It's about me. Like I'm in pain. How do I go from this point right here to being consistently happy on a daily basis? And so what topic continued to come up was loving yourself, self-love. And so I really started to dig into that type of material and started to listen to people who were teaching that type of material and then applying those principles. And, slowly but surely, I started to realize a tremendous difference in the way that I was feeling about myself, and started to realize that my heart was mending, starting to realize that now here's the flip side of that thing. Yes, that relationship is over, but the flip side of it is now the whole world has opened up to me again. So now, is it a little more difficult? Because when you start trying to date, it's difficult to find dates that really excite you again. But needless to say, you're open. Like I liken it to those of you who are familiar with sports. I liken it to being a free agent now. So my team, I no longer am associated with my previous team. Now I can sign on with anybody I want to. So I get to basically start over. So in starting over, what am I looking for? What do I want to do? Where do I want to live? What am I open to? What types of women do I really like? Like, what's my dreams? So I started to dream, and I started to practice loving myself and forgiving, starting with myself and then moving on to others, and really, meditating and staying positive, having a positive outlook, being open. All the things that I've talked about so far on this podcast are the things that I've done and I do on a daily basis to maintain my high vibrational energy, to maintain that happy place, to maintain the joy and to build on it. Because when you're happy, that should be your new set point. That needs to become your new set point, because that's what we're here to do. And just case in point, the next time that you are around kids, little children, or you drive by a park or a school and you see kids playing, look at the kids playing and just watch them. I mean, when they are playing, they don't have any other cares in the world. They are 100% focused on having fun. They're laughing, they're smiling. They don't care about anything else in the world. And that's the thought that I have in the back of my mind in terms of how I want to feel, because we all have that inner kid in us, and that's the way we should feel. Now, are there times when, of course, we can't laugh and joke all day long because there's things that we have to kind of be more serious about to take care of? However, we can set our lives up so that those things that we do like that still set our hearts on fire, still excite us and make us feel that way on the inside. And then once that time is over where we don't have to be professional and be serious, we can very readily switch back or slide over to that place of joy again, where we're really feeling good and blissful and happy and all that other stuff. And that becomes infectious for other people. So not only does loving yourself make you happy and give you everything that you want, but it's infectious, and people around you notice it and they feel good about it. And unbeknownst to them, it actually rubs off on them. Now, it may not last very long, because that's their prerogative to be and feel the way they want to feel. But when they're around you and you're feeling that way and you're happy and things are rolling off your back, nothing's getting to you, every day's a sunny day on the inside, you affect the universe, you affect humanity, you affect those in your immediate environment in a way that we're intended to do, we're supposed to do. And I believe that's part of our job as well. But it all starts with getting there first. You have to get there first. You have to fill your cup, and you have to continue to refill that cup so that you have plenty to pour out. Keep it filling so that it's overflowing, so that, it's not even a big deal at all for you to pour into other people, because again, that's what we're all here to do. So I hope that gives you a little bit more of an idea of where I came from and why I do what I do, and just, the depths of which I come from. And so I believe wholeheartedly in the concept of self-love and all that it means for you, just how important it is. And once you exercise once you exercise the ability and take the time to dig into it, I'm telling you, it is the best thing that in the world that you can actually do. It will affect every aspect of your life. You will feel better than you've ever felt, and you will be able to maneuver and manage and roll through life the way that we're intended to. Good times can last as long as we want them to last. It's less about what happens in your life, and it's just so much about how you respond to what happens in this world and in the life, and the viewpoint, your beliefs, how you view these things. And again, just keeping yourself happy. If you will focus on keeping yourself happy, man, it is such a beautiful thing. So I've kind of gone on a little bit longer than I had intended to here today, but I hope that gives you a little bit more of a background on where I'm coming from and my ideas, and just why I do what I do, because I truly enjoy the work that I engage in now. I truly enjoy working with people every day and sharing my story and my experiences and the lessons I've learned, in hopes that, if someone needs some help, then I can be there to help them, and then ultimately they can be there to help someone else. So that's all I have for you guys today. Again, thank you so very much for hanging out with me, and I look forward to talking with you all again very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.
You've been listening to Self-Love is the New Sexy with W. Mark Watts. If you enjoyed today's show, be sure to tell a friend. Also, make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to our show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you listen to podcasts.